It's time to take your Supra's audio to the next level with our Alpha 1 amp by BeamerTech. Welcome back. I'm Dylan with BeamerTech, and I'm honestly really excited to present to you our plug-and-play amp for the Toyota Supra.
The Toyota Supra has always been a crowd favorite, and the partnership between Toyota and BMW really gave people a great option with the current generation. But it's lacking in one major place.
The sound. Even with the higher-end JBL systems, the Toyota Supra can't hold a candle to what you can get out of an Alpha 1 amplifier. Now, you've seen us install speakers on a Supra before, but now the amp. What makes this installation even more special is this Supra has the rare hi-fi system.
The Alpha 1 amp from BeamerTech offers 1,420 watts max power, 8 output channels, and 1 RCA line-level pre-out to drive an additional subwoofer amplifier. Like all of our amps, they come pre-tuned to your car, your ears, and the music that you listen to.
Today, Jared is going to show you how to install this amp on a Supra, and this can be accomplished by yourself with our DIY Essentials Kit and Trim Tool Kit if you choose to. But if you don't want to do it yourself, you could also find one of our certified installers near you. We have them in about 30 countries around the world. And if you're in the Orlando, Florida area, well then stop on by and we could do it for you. Jared, take it away.
First, start by opening up the rear hatch and remove the cover by lifting off the top tabs and articulating out the cover itself. Next, remove the floor panel by lifting it up and pulling it out like so. At this point, you'll want to disconnect your battery by removing the negative terminal with a 10mm socket and setting it aside. Now we need to start removing some trim. On the passenger side and the back, use a trim tool to pop off this trim piece here. Next, peel back this grommet for the brace. Use your hand to pop off this trim and slide the seatbelt through it to set it aside. Remove the 2 T20 screws holding this trim down. Remove this piece here. Then use your hands to pop off and free the bottom trim piece, and let it rest off to the side. Remove these 2 T20 screws. For the rear trim, start by using a trim tool to remove this piece here. Remove these 2 fasteners. Due to the depth of the area, a pick tool might be helpful. Rotate the 2 tabs to drop the door. And then with a trim tool, carefully remove the door from the hinge locations. Remove the 2 T30 screws as shown here. Remove the trim by pulling up from the bottom. Keep in mind that the weather stripping might be holding it down. With the trim tool, pop free the trim. The carpet will remain attached, but don't worry, we'll get to that soon. While here though, use the trim tool to pop out this light and unplug it. With that out of the way, you can now slide the side trim out and away, which will expose the amp. Remove the 8mm bolt holding the amp to the bracket. You will eventually need to remove the bracket as well, so if you'd like to save the step of removing the amp until later, you can do that too. Once free, unplug it by pressing the center tab on the bottom connector and rotate the arm to disconnect it. Guess what? It's later. Let's remove the bracket. Remove the two 8mm nuts holding the bracket to the car. To remove the plastic tab holding it down, press in the side with the trim tool and it will release. Remove the bracket. Let's get the Alpha 1 amp ready. With it out of the car, start plugging in the plug-and-play harness from your kit. Each connector can only go in one place, so there's no risk of error. Don't forget the USB cable on the other side. Jared decided to take the time to use a cable tie to already start tidying things up, but that's up to you. Let's install the Alpha 1 amp on the factory bracket. We first need some clearance, so carefully bend this tab so it will be flat like so. It's easy enough to do with your fingers, but pliers work well for this. Slide in the Alpha 1 amp like so and reinstall the 8mm bolt. Take the completed assembly back to the car and put the factory bracket back in place where you took it out of. Replace the two 8mm nuts. To plug in the amp, take the factory connector you removed from the factory amp and plug that into the Alpha 1 plug-and-play harness. Make sure the arm is up, place the connector in, and when you rotate the arm back down, it will pull the connector into place. Use some cable ties to tidy up the installation by securing the Alpha 1 harness to existing harnesses.
At this point, the installation of the amp is complete. Now, this customer also opted for BeamerTech's ASD Delete, so we're going to show you how to do that. ASD, or Active Sound Design, is BMW Group branded vehicle speak for pumping fake engine noises through your sound system. Now, this customer has a very custom exhaust, so he opted to delete it. Also, you just got a brand new Alpha 1 amplifier to perfect the music that you're listening to. You don't want fake engine noises ruining that. We offer this for many different BMW Group branded vehicles, so let's show you how to get it done.
Remove the connector of the ASD module by pressing in the center tab and rotating the arm to release it. Now we need to reshell the connector. Insert a pick tool here to gently pry back the outer shell of the connector while slightly pulling back to stop it from snapping back into place. Do this on the other side and the pin blocks will release. Now take the BeamerTech ASD Delete harness and do the same with the pin block in the teal connector. Once free, take those pin blocks you just freed from the BeamerTech harness and slide those into the factory gray Supra shell. After that, slide the factory Supra pin blocks you freed earlier into the teal BeamerTech shell. Take that same connector and slide that into the black connector in the BeamerTech ASD Delete harness. Make sure the arm is up, place it in, and rotate the arm down to lock it into place. Take the other half and plug that into the ASD module on the Supra the same way. Use cable ties to tidy up the installation. Back to the last parts of the amp installation. Jarrett wanted to feed the amp's USB cable through this part in the side panel here, so we used some cable ties to secure the USB cable further up an existing harness in the Supra. With that done, it's time to start the reassembly. Take the side panel and slide it into place like so. Take the USB cable and feed it through the trim so it's easily accessible if you need to digitally access your amp later. Don't forget the light connector as well. Snap the side panel back in place and make sure the weather stripping goes over the panel. Plug the light back in and snap it back into place. Jarrett opted to use a cable tie to secure the USB cable here, but it's totally up to you where you want it. Reinstall these screws. Snap the rear trim back in place like so and make sure the weather stripping is over it. Replace the fasteners. Replace this trim piece. Replace the screws. Snap the door back in place. Articulate and snap the speaker panel back in place. Make sure the weather stripping is over the panel. Replace the screws. Slide the pillar trim back into place and snap it down. Slide the seat belt back into this trim and snap it back into place. Snap this last panel back in place and make sure the weather stripping is over it. Finally, snap the grommet back into place and you're done with this side. If you have not already, reconnect your negative battery terminal and drop the floor panel back in place. Drop the cover back in place. And then snap the two tabs on top back into place as well. And you're done.
And that is how you install BeamerTech's Alpha 1 amp in a Toyota Supra. Want one for your ride? Head on over to our website and enter your VIN to get the right kit for you. But as always, for more tips and tricks, product reviews, and so much more for BMWs, Mini Supras, and now Teslas, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell. Want to know what's happening first around here? Head on over to our website and subscribe to our newsletter. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Thanks for watching.